specifically for Alternative 3. Alternative 3, General Description and Update of Alignment Related Changes. Updated Alternative 3 is an expressway on the north side of the existing State Route 132 and Mays Boulevard alignment, about half a mile south of State Route 132 West Project Expressway Freeway alignment. This is a different alignment than Alternative 1 and Alternative 2 and includes a State Route 132 expressway transition at the east end of the project limit, between just west of existing temporary State Route 132 highway North Dakota alignment. Here's a general overview of Alternative 3 access points and proposed local road realignments and access modification. There are 4 proposed updated alignments from the 2018 public meeting as follows. 1. Construct a portion of State Route 132 Expressway transition west of temporary State Route 132 Highway, North Dakota alignment, and 2 signalized intersections. 2. Construct a portion of State Route 132 roadway and Hart Road roadway at proposed Hart Road signalized intersection. And 3. Modify access at Butler Road on the north side of State Route 132 Expressway. And 4. Construct a portion of State Route 132 roadway and realign Gates Road, realign Paradise Road at proposed signalized intersection. Other updates with respect to intersections, access modifications, drainage, and proposed preliminary right-of-way for Alternative 3 are discussed next. Alternative 3, Detailed Description. Now we will look at the more detailed design mapping for Alternative 3 and proposed improvement. Here's an overall map with aerial image showing existing and proposed State Route 132 in relation to Alternative 3. The 4-lane divided expressway from about Gates Road, Paradise Road to about North Dakota Avenue connects to the existing State Route 132 highway passing lane sections at the west end of the project, and the State Route 132 West Project Expressway Freeway at the east end of the project. Portions of existing State Route 132 will become Stanislaus County roads. The existing temporary State Route 132 highway along North Dakota Avenue alignment is proposed to be replaced with the expressway transition. Also, there are 5 separate locations of access modifications for private properties for Alternative 3. Beginning at the east end of the project limits along State Route 132, the expressway would connect and overlap with a portion of State Route 132 West Expressway Freeway currently being constructed on the alignment about half a mile north of Mays Boulevard and just south of Kansas Avenue. The roadway improvements would continue westerly to propose realigned portion of North Dakota Avenue and the northern end of the proposed expressway transition roadway. A signalized intersection would provide access from 2 State Route 132 West Project Expressway Freeway from 2 North Dakota Avenue to the north of the intersection and State Route 132 Expressway Transition Roadway to the south of the intersection. The improvements would require minor intersection modifications to existing realigned Kansas Avenue roadways that are to be constructed with the State Route 132 West Expressway Freeway project improvements. Additionally, drainage improvements would be made next to signalized intersection and roadways for managing and the drainage and stormwater runoff. For the signalized intersections and improvements, the proposed preliminary right-of-way is in the southeast quadrant of the proposed intersection, whereas there is existing state-owned properties in the southwest, northwest, and northeast quadrants to accommodate the signalized intersection and associated drainage improvements. The proposed improvements are exactly the same as proposed Alternative 4 in this section. The roadway improvements would continue southerly towards Mays Boulevard alignment, about half a mile south of just west of existing temporary State Route 130 highway and the North Dakota alignment. The State Route 132 road cross-section in this section would look like the following exhibit with the 4-lane divided expressway with an unpaved median or with paved median near the north-south ends of the transitions. Longitudinal drainage ditches along both westbound and eastbound directions with larger drainage areas on the east side of the expressway transition and perimeter right-of-way fencing for access control. The proposed preliminary right-of-way width is typically 295 feet wide for this section between the signalized intersection to the north and signalized intersection to the south. The existing temporary State Route 132 highway roadway portion along North Dakota Avenue alignment is proposed to accommodate a utility corridor within the existing county-owned right-of-way with typical width of 90 feet. The improvements are similar to proposed Alternative 4 in this section. State Route 132 Expressway transition continues to the southern proposed signal to the State Route 132 Expressway to the west and at Mays Boulevard and South Dakota Avenue. This signal intersection provides access from 2 State Route 132 and Mays Boulevard as well as South Dakota Avenue. This new intersection would require removing and realigning a portion of Mays Boulevard east of the signal intersection and including a cul-de-sac on a portion of Mays Boulevard west of the signal intersection for roadway modification improvements. Also, the new intersection location would require removing and realigning a portion of South Dakota Avenue south of the signal intersection for roadway modification improvements. Portions of existing temporary State Route 132 highway along North Dakota Avenue alignment are proposed to remain for utility corridor access. Additionally, drainage improvements would be made next to State Route 132 Expressway signal area for managing the drainage and stormwater runoff for the intersection and improvements. The proposed preliminary right-of-way is in the southwest quadrant, northwest quadrant, and northeast quadrant to accommodate the improvement. The improvements are slightly different from proposed alternative 4 in this section, as Alt 4, the expressway alignment, is to the south of Mays Boulevard, and therefore the intersection would be slightly further south. The proposed roadway improvements would continue westerly along State Route 132 Expressway on the north side of existing State Route 132 Mays Boulevard alignment, about 5 miles in length. The State Route 132 roadway cross-section in this section would look like the following exhibit, with a 4-lane divided expressway with an unpaved median, longitudinal drainage ditches, and perimeter right-of-way fencing for access control. The proposed preliminary right-of-way width is typically 230 feet wide for this section between the signalized intersections at the west end and the east end of the expressway. The existing State Route 132 highway would become a Stanislaus County road. The improvements are similar as proposed alternative 4 in this section. However, the improvements would be on the south side of Mays Boulevard. At Hart Road, a proposed signalized intersection would provide access from to State Route 132 and Hart Road. This new intersection would require removing and replacing portions of Hart Road north and south of proposed State Route 132 for roadway modification and improvements. Also, portions of Mays Boulevard would be removed and realigned. Additionally, drainage improvements would be made next to the State Route 132 Expressway and Hart Road for managing the drainage and stormwater runoff. For the intersection, the proposed additional right-of-way is in all 4 quadrants of the intersection. The proposed roadway improvements would continue westerly toward Butler Road, about 1 mile to the west of Hart Road and 1 mile east of Gates Road. The State Route 132 4-lane divided expressway continues through this portion of the north side of Mays Boulevard alignment. Butler Road on the north side of State Route 132 Expressway would have access from to westbound State Route 132 Expressway via a proposed modified right-in, right-out stop-controlled intersection. No direct access or median crossover is provided from to eastbound State Route 132 Expressway from to Butler Road. Proposed preliminary right-of-way is identified through this section of improvements for the State Route 132 Expressway and access modification at Butler Road. Proposed roadway improvements would continue westerly towards Gates Road and Paradise Road, about 1 mile to the west of Butler Road and 2 miles to the west of Hart Road. The State Route 132 roadway continues through this portion on the north side of Mays Boulevard, transitioning into the modified existing State Route 132 highway section to the west, including a cul-de-sac on a portion of Mays Boulevard east of the signal intersection. A proposed signalized intersection would provide access from to State Route 132 Expressway Highway from to Gates Road and Paradise Road. This new intersection would require Gates Road to be realigned from the existing Gates Road north of proposed State Route 132 intersection and Paradise Road to be realigned from existing Paradise Road south of the proposed State Route 132 intersection. Furthermore, the access at existing Gates Road and existing Paradise Road would have a proposed cul-de-sac on each end road north and south of modified State Route 132, which access provided to State Route 132 via the proposed realigned roadways. Additionally, drainage improvements would be made next to State Route 132 Expressway. Realigned roads and intersection area for managing drainage and stormwater runoff. This area does not have existing state-owned properties, and proposed preliminary right-of-ways identified along the expressway alignment and local road realignments, as well as the proposed intersection and drainage improvements. With this proposed project, the State Route 132 Expressway would end near the west end signalized intersection at Gates Road and Paradise Road, about 5.5 miles west of North Dakota Avenue and State Route 132 West Expressway Freeway, as measured along State Route 132 Expressway. The roadway improvements would continue westerly towards Riley Slough, about 2 miles west of the existing Gates Road, Paradise Road alignment. This portion of State Route 132 highway on existing alignment is proposed to be modified with an overlay and shoulder widening to transition onto the expressway. Additionally, some grading, drainage, and modifications to the existing longitudinals are proposed. The westbound passing lane section will be maintained with some shoulder widening improvement. The remaining portion of the proposed project, 1 mile west of Riley Sioux, involves signing, striping, and some electrical work. The eastbound passing lane section will be maintained. Also, there is no proposed right-of-way west of existing Gates Road, Paradise Road alignment in the existing passing lane sections of State Route 132 highway.